Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan. I'm a clinical mental health counseling student, and I'm currently studying for the National Counselor exam. It has been super tedious so far. If you're studying for the NCE as well and you haven't seen my last video series where I go through the free practice questions online, I highly encourage you to check that out. For this next video series, I'm going through National Counselor Examination Vocab. The audio and the visual is going to be the same on this, so you can watch it on mute or you can listen to it in the car and you'll get the same information. For a lot of these, I'm pulling a few definitions from different places. That's just what helps me drill it into my head. So sorry in advance if it's a little redundant, but hopefully it helps you really learn these terms. I haven't found a lot of good free study resources, so I'm hoping to create that for other people. If you find this video series helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. So with all that being said, let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of National Counselor Exam Vocabulary. Abscissa. In psychology, the term abscissa refers to the horizontal axis in a graph, typically representing the independent variable. When plotting data, the abscissa is used to show the values or categories of this independent variable, while the vertical axis, ordinate, represents the dependent variable. For example, in a graph displaying the relationship between study time, abscissa, and test scores, ordinate, the abscissa would show different amounts of time spent studying. Understanding the abscissa is crucial for interpreting data visualizations in research, as it helps identify how changes in the independent variable influence the outcome being measured. The concept is common in psychological research and statistics, where visual representations of data are frequently used to convey findings. Aspirational ethics versus mandatory ethics. In the field of counseling, aspirational ethics and mandatory ethics represent two levels of ethical practice. Mandatory ethics refers to the basic minimum standards of ethical behavior that all counselors are required to follow. These are often codified in laws, regulations, or professional codes of conduct and are designed to protect clients and ensure a standard level of care. Violating mandatory ethics can result in legal consequences, loss of licensure, or other professional sanctions. Aspirational ethics, on the other hand, involves striving for the highest standards of ethical practice beyond just following the rules. This approach emphasizes a counselor's commitment to go above and beyond the minimum requirements, focusing on principles such as beneficence, autonomy, and justice to enhance the well-being of clients. Aspirational ethics encourages counselors to continually reflect on and improve their practice, aiming for excellence in their professional conduct. In essence, mandatory ethics are the must-dos, while aspirational ethics are the should-dos, guiding counselors towards the most ethical and effective practice. Behavior modification. Behavior modification is a type of behavior therapy. B.F. Skinner demonstrated that behavior could be shaped through reinforcement and/or punishment. Skinner noted that a reinforcer is a consequence that increases the likelihood of behavior to recur, while punishment is a consequence that decreases the chance. Behavior modification is a set of therapeutic techniques based on operant conditioning. The main principle comprises changing environmental events that are related to a person's behavior. For example, the reinforcement of desired behaviors and ignoring or punishing undesired ones. Introjection. In psychology, introjection is a defense mechanism where an individual unconsciously adopts the beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors of others, particularly those of significant figures like parents or authority figures, as their own. This process helps individuals internalize societal or parental expectations and norms, making them a part of their own self-concept. For example, a child may introject a parent's critical voice, leading to self-criticism later in life. While introjection can help with socialization and identity formation, it can also result in the internalization of harmful or unrealistic standards, potentially contributing to issues like low self-esteem or anxiety. It is a concept often explored in psychoanalytic theory and various therapeutic practices. The Lucifer effect. The Lucifer effect is a term coined by psychologist Philip Zimbardo to describe how ordinary people can commit heinous acts under certain conditions. This concept emerged from Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment, where participants assigned roles as guards or prisoners adopted behaviors consistent with their roles, leading to abusive actions. The effect highlights how situational and systemic factors, such as dehumanization and loss of personal accountability, can override individual moral standards and lead to unethical behavior. The Lucifer effect suggests that situational influences and social pressures can significantly impact behavior, challenging the notion that such actions are solely attributable to inherent personality traits. This concept is used to understand phenomena like the abuse of power and ethical lapses in various contexts, from historical atrocities to everyday situations. People-first language. In the field of counseling, people-first language is an approach that emphasizes the person before their condition or disability. It aims to respect and affirm the individual's identity rather than defining them by their diagnosis or limitations. For example, instead of saying a disabled person, people-first language would use a person with a disability. This approach helps to reduce stigma and promotes a more inclusive and respectful perspective. It underscores the importance of recognizing clients as individuals with unique experiences and strengths, rather than simply as a set of symptoms or conditions. Placator communication style. The placator communication style involves using submissive or accommodating behavior to avoid conflict and please others, often at the expense of one's own needs or opinions. In a family system, this style can lead to an imbalance where one member consistently yields to others, potentially fostering resentment and unaddressed issues. The placatory individual may avoid expressing their true feelings or needs to maintain harmony, which can result in underlying tensions and unresolved conflicts within the family. This communication style may also reinforce unhealthy dynamics, where other family members might take advantage of the placatory person's reluctance to confront problems. Over time, the lack of open communication can hinder emotional closeness and contribute to dysfunctional family interactions. Oppositional defiant disorder. Oppositional defiant disorder is a behavioral disorder typically diagnosed in childhood, characterized by a persistent pattern of anger, irritable mood, argumentative behavior, and vindictiveness. Children with ODD often display defiant behavior towards authority figures, resist rules, and challenge limits, which can lead to frequent conflicts at home, school, or with peers. The disorder may involve behaviors such as temper tantrums, refusal to comply with requests, and deliberate annoyance of others. ODD can significantly impact a child's social, academic, and family functioning, and it is important to distinguish it from typical childhood behavior or other mental health issues. Treatment often includes behavioral therapy, parent training, and in some cases, medication to address co-occurring conditions. Deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning in psychology involves drawing specific conclusions from general principles or premises. It is a logical process where, if the premises are true and the reasoning is valid, the conclusion must also be true. For example, if the general principle is that all humans are mortal, and the premise is Socrates is a human, then deductive reasoning leads to the conclusion that Socrates is mortal. This type of reasoning is used to test theories and hypotheses by applying general rules to specific instances. In psychology, deductive reasoning is important for developing and validating theories, as well as for systematic problem solving. Inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning in psychology involves making generalizations based on specific observations or evidence. Unlike deductive reasoning, which starts with general principles, inductive reasoning begins with particular instances and seeks to infer broader conclusions or patterns. For example, observing that a series of individuals with a certain behavior pattern leads to the conclusion that the behavior must be common among people with similar traits. Inductive reasoning is crucial for forming hypotheses and theories based on empirical data and observations. While it provides valuable insights, its conclusions are not guaranteed to be true, as they are based on probabilities rather than certainties. Double bind. A double bind is a psychological situation where an individual is faced with two or more conflicting messages or demands, making it impossible to respond correctly to all without violating one of the demands. This concept was introduced by Gregory Bateson to explain how such contradictory communication can create confusion and stress, particularly in the context of family dynamics. The importance of the double bind in psychology lies in its potential to contribute to mental health issues, such as anxiety or schizophrenia, by creating chronic emotional conflicts and undermining the individual's ability to make clear decisions. It highlights the impact of dysfunctional communication patterns on psychological well-being and underscores the need for addressing these patterns in therapeutic settings. Understanding and identifying double binds can help psychologists and therapists in developing more effective strategies for improving communication and resolving conflicts. Remote memory versus short-term memory. Remote memory and short-term memory are two distinct types of memory with different characteristics. Short-term memory refers to the capacity to hold and process a limited amount of information for a brief period, typically seconds to minutes. It is used for tasks such as remembering a phone number long enough to dial it or following a conversation. Short-term memory has a limited capacity and is susceptible to interference or decay. Remote memory, also known as long-term memory, involves the storage and retrieval of information over extended periods, ranging from hours to decades. It includes memories of past experiences, knowledge, and skills that are retained over the long term. Remote memory has a much larger capacity compared to short-term memory and is less susceptible to immediate interference. In summary, while short-term memory deals with information for brief durations and has limited capacity, remote memory stores information over the long term and encompasses a much more broad range of experiences and knowledge. Anima and animus. In Jungian psychology, the anima and the animus are concepts representing the unconscious feminine and masculine aspects of an individual's psyche, respectively. The anima is the feminine inner personality present in men, embodying traits, feelings, and attributes traditionally associated with femininity. Conversely, the animus is the masculine inner personality present in women, reflecting traits, behaviors, and attributes traditionally linked to masculinity. These archetypes influence how individuals perceive and relate to the opposite gender, and contribute to the process of personal integration and self-understanding. The key difference is that the anima represents the feminine aspect within men, while the animus represents the masculine aspect within women. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this.